Elaine Harding. Welcome to my blog .stampwithelaine.com. I'm featuring the Orange Blossom set today because there's this little image here which I think will also double us up as a line for the Lemon Zest stamp set, and I think these two will go so well together because this slice here could be an orange or a lemon or even lime. This is the card we'll be making, and it's got a neat little opening. I cased this from a card by Don Griffith in the US and adapted it for the Orange Blossom stamp set. To make this card we'll need the stamp set, the layered leaves, dynamic textured impressions embossing folder, and also the Lots of Labels Framelits dies. We're also going to be using quite a lot of inks. There's chocolate chip, fresh fig, lemon lime twist, peekaboo peach, sweet sugar plum, and daffodil delight, and some sponge daubers. I've mounted my stamps on a block A, B, C and G. And of course you need your big shot and a magnetic platform. The cardstock you need is half an A4 sheet. In Europe this measures 4 1/8 by 11 3/4. In centimetres that's 10.5 by 29.9 centimetres. With the long side on top you score at 5 7/8. That's 14.9 centimetres. You need a peekaboo peach layer which measures 3 7/8 by 5 5/8. That's 9.8 centimetres by 14.3 centimetres, and that goes on the top. For the inside of the card you need a piece that measures 2.5 by 10 inches, and that's been scored at 4 8 inches, and that's 10.2 centimetres and 20.3 centimetres. You need 2 pieces of Whisper White, so that goes on the card here, and that measures 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. That's 5.7 centimetres by 9.5 centimetres. From the Lots of Labels you need the 2 largest dies. You need the larger of the 2 dies to cut an aperture through the layer and also the front of the card base, and you can secure that with a little bit of washi tape so that it doesn't move. Make your cutting sandwich with the magnetic platform, base cutting plate, your cardstock die, top cutting plate. Now I'm ready to run that through the big shot, so I'll do that off camera and I'll be back. You also need a scrap of Whisper White to cut a piece with a smaller label die. Bring in the big shot platform without the thin die adapter, and you only need one of the plates to emboss with the dynamic embossing folder. This has got much thicker and leaves a deeper impression, so you only need 1 plate and not 2. So reassemble your die cut piece. Make your sandwich and top cutting plate, and I'm ready to run that through the big shot. So I'll do that off camera. I'm going to take the Peekaboo Peach ink and sponge daub the frame. Bring in a foam mat because these are photopolymer stamps and you get better ink coverage if it's stamped on a foam mat. I'm going to be stamping the word "Hey Friend" first in chocolate chip ink. The blossom in Peekaboo Peach. I would have liked to have stamped it in this, but I seem to have lost the stamp, so we're going to go for this spotty one. Switching ink pads and stamping this stem and those flowers. This is Lemon Lime Twist. Daffodil Delight, line up the stamps. Now I'm switching ink pads to the Sweet Sugar Plum, and when you're inking up the stem, which is this V-shaped one here, there's a gap there, which as a two-step stamping set, these flowers will fit into this. Now when you're inking it up, it depends on when they're manufacturing the photopolymer stamps, where the material lies, and sometimes, you know, you might get a bulky bit here, so whenever you ink it up, it might pick up some ink where you don't want it to be. But you'd need that bit here. If you see, it's sort of pointy. It gives you an indication on how to orient your stamp when you're stamping it. And it's the same with this one here. You can see there are two marks, almost like right angles, and it points the way, as it were. So when you're picking up the ink, try and avoid getting ink on that area. And you need only a gentle touch so you don't get ink on there. Then switching ink pads, the same applies for this stamp as well, any of the little stamps. And you can see that's quite bulbous, so I'm just going to very gently tap on the corner of the stamp pad to pick up the ink, and then pop it on the flower. I'm going to glue it straight away so that I don't mislay the piece. I waste so much time trying to find stuff when I'm crafting, and it's so frustrating. I'm going to get another sponge dauber and lost my Sweet Sugar Plum ink pad. Okay, Sweet Sugar Plum ink pad, and I'm just going to sponge the edges to give it some definition. I should have done that before I put the glue on. Never mind. Pop that on. Bring my card base rather. Glue on the back of that. Make sure it's flush with the opening, and then I'm going to pop that card in there. Next I want to stamp these two bits. I'm going to put them side by side. Lemon Lime Twist, again the same thing applies with this, so try and ink up the stamp to avoid the centre of the stamp so you don't get marks. Okay, so one there. I smudged it before, so I'm just going to try something to avoid getting ink on those spots. I've just put the corner of the cardstock on the stamp and just put the ink pad on top, and hopefully that will do the trick. Bring back the there we go. going back to my fresh fig and stamp the flower centres. I want to stamp this sentiment out of sight but never out of mind in chocolate chip. Back with the orange blossom stamp. Back with the chocolate chip. The lemon lime twist. I'm going to stamp the leaves. It's the assembly part. So you want to fold the score lines into a Z fold, and that has to attach, the small edge has to attach to the front of your Lots of Labels Framelits. So that should go in between, in the middle, just shy of the score line, like so. So the short panel will be on your left, just so that we don't make a mistake. It's best to apply adhesive to this panel here. Close the card, place your label piece, leave your finger there, and then pop that in like a jigsaw so that it will all fit together. And make sure that's down. And then you can fan it out and you know exactly where to attach your stamp pieces. Ask me why I know, because after all that stamping I glued it onto the mechanism and I glued it back to front. So this way is more like a fail-safe method. So then pop that back. So that's the front of the card. Open it up. Apply adhesive to the back. And then shut that on top. Wait for it to bond and then you can open it up. That sort of sits in between. So that's another way of doing a Z fold card. It's Z because of that sort of shape, but through a Lots of Labels window. I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. Thank you to Don for the inspiration. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe or share on Facebook, and my grateful thanks if you do. If you're watching from YouTube, you'll find the list of supplies I use below this video in the Show More section with direct links to my online store. They'll also be listed on my blog here at blog.stampwithelaine.com. You can find me on Facebook, Pinterest or Instagram. Thanks for watching and I'll be back soon. Bye!